There's a truth most people never want to hear. Your destiny is not built on what you daydream about. It's not built on your vision boards, your affirmations, your best-case scenarios. No, it's built in the dark. It's built in the weight of your decisions when no one is watching. It's built in the furnace of your pain. It's built in the chaos you didn't choose, but had to survive anyway. You don't become what you fantasize. You become what you can endure. People talk about becoming successful, becoming great, becoming fulfilled. But they skip the part where the road to greatness is littered with pain that doesn't make sense, sacrifices that don't seem fair, delays that feel like punishments, rejection that cuts deep, silence that makes you question your calling, loneliness that screams louder than doubt. But here's the secret: endurance is not weakness. It's proof that you were chosen to carry more than most. Not because you're better, but because you're stronger, or you will be if you don't give up. This generation has confused inspiration with transformation. They want motivation, not movement. They want the mountain, but not the climb. They want the crown, but not the cross. They envision the results, but they run from the resistance. What if the vision you were given isn't meant to be easy? What if that vision is meant to stretch you, break you, rebuild you, because the version of you right now is too fragile to carry what the future requires? You say you want to change the world. Good. Now prepare to be changed by pain first. Because vision is cheap, but endurance is expensive. And most people aren't willing to pay. But if you are, keep listening. There's something sacred about struggle. Something divine in delay. Something holy in hardship, if you let it do its work in you. Every person who ever built something lasting, every leader, inventor, visionary, or warrior who changed the course of history, they all shared one trait: not brilliance, not luck, not talent, but the ability to endure what would have broken others. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times. Lincoln lost more elections than he won before he became one of the most revered presidents in American history. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. Walt Disney was fired for lacking imagination. What separated them wasn't the vision. It was the refusal to fold when the furnace turned up the heat. See, anyone can start. Few can stay. Anyone can speak about dreams when life is good. Few can whisper hope when life is silent. You don't rise to the level of your ambitions. You fall to the level of your endurance. So ask yourself, what are you enduring right now? That heartbreak, that uncertainty, that delay, that betrayal, that silence, that pressure, that storm you didn't ask for. You didn't invite it, but it's there. And if you don't quit, if you hold the line, if you keep breathing when it hurts to breathe, you're being carved into someone unshakable. That's the cost. That's the process. The world celebrates what you build, but it forgets to mention what had to be torn down first. Your ego crushed, your plans wrecked, your timing ruined, your comfort shattered, your old identity burned. Why? Because you were never meant to become your vision. You were meant to become worthy of it. And worthiness isn't a title. It's a war. It's fought in the silence of long nights, in the pain of unseen effort, in the valley of still waiting, in the frustration of nothing's changing. And that is where most people give up. Not because they weren't called, but because they weren't willing to endure the contradiction between where they are and where they want to be. But the contradiction is the crucible, the fire that forges identity, the suffering that births power, the process that turns mortals into legacy. So if you're walking through something heavy right now, if it feels like the weight of the world is crushing your spirit, I want you to hear this. It's not the end. It's the entrance. The doorway into a version of you that's been buried beneath the surface, waiting for the pain to chisel it free. Endurance is what unlocks it. So don't resent the hardship. Don't escape the silence. Don't waste the suffering. Let it work on you. Let it change you. Let it make you a weapon against weakness, a fire in a world of flickering ambition. Because when all the noise fades and the spotlight dims, what remains isn't what you imagined, it's what you endured. Do you want to know why most people never become powerful? It's not because they don't have potential. It's not because they lack opportunity. It's because they never stayed in the fire long enough to let it shape them. They ran when it got uncomfortable. They negotiated with their excuses. They broke promises to themselves and called it self-care. They said it wasn't the right time, but what they really meant was, "I'm not ready to hurt for this yet." But let me tell you something. The dream doesn't show up when you're comfortable. The breakthrough doesn't come when you feel like it. The anointing doesn't fall on the version of you that plays it safe. It falls on the one who stayed, the one who bled, the one who built while broken, the one who stood in the middle of the storm screaming into the void, "I'm not leaving until I become who I was, sent here to be." Because power is earned in obscurity. It's earned in rejection. It's earned in the mundane, the boring, the repetitions that feel like they don't matter until one day they do. This is where character is made. When no one is clapping for you. When no one sees you. When the applause is gone, the feedback is gone, the rewards are gone, and you're left with nothing but discipline and decision. And here's the part no one tells you. Vision without discipline is just delusion. Potential without persistence is just a wish. And desire without durability is a setup for heartbreak. If you want to carry something great, you must become someone unshakable. Because God does not pour oil into cracked vessels. He patches you. He presses you. He purifies you not to punish you but to prepare you. And every time you cry out, "Why is this happening to me?" the answer isn't punishment, it's placement. You are being placed where strength is forged, where roots grow deeper than emotion, where faith is no longer a feeling, it's a decision. A grit in your bones that says, "Even if I don't see it yet, I will not bend." Because the ones who endure become rare, and the rare become rulers. That's how kingdoms are built, not on the backs of cowards, but on the scars of warriors. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you've lived in truth, that you've walked through fire and didn't let it consume you, that you've lost and bled and questioned everything and still kept moving forward. You become dangerous when you stop needing comfort to obey your calling. You become powerful when your response to adversity is not panic, but presence. You become undeniable when you stop asking, "How long?" and start saying, "As long as it takes." That's the kind of person the future belongs to. The one who makes a decision and refuses to renegotiate. The one who stops talking and starts transforming. The one who doesn't just post about vision, but bleeds for it. You can tell who's going to make it not by what they say, but by what they're willing to endure without quitting. When the lights are off, when the progress is invisible, when the pressure is unbearable, and still they rise, again and again and again. This is the path, and it's narrow, it's brutal, it's unforgiving, but it leads to a place few ever see, not because they weren't invited, but because they didn't stay long enough to become the person worthy of walking through the door. If you're in pain right now, if you're lost in the wilderness of your own process, if you feel like the version of you that started is dying, good, because something sacred is being born in the ashes. Let the old version of you die. Let the one who needed validation die. Let the one who feared failure die. Let the one who waited for permission die. Let the one who played small to stay safe die. So the one who was called can rise, the one who can carry the weight, the one who can lead through storms, the one who doesn't fold under pressure, the one who walks into rooms and shifts the atmosphere not because of ego, but because of endurance. You don't get to your future by skipping pain. You get there by enduring it, mastering it, outlasting it, letting it shape you without stealing you. And when the dust settles, it won't be the dream that defined you. It will be the fire you survived to carry it. You don't build power by reading about it. You build it in silence, in sweat, in unseen hours when everyone else is sleeping, when everyone else is retreating, negotiating, escaping, and you are facing it. Not because you want to, but because you must. Because something inside of you refuses to let you stay small. Something inside of you knows. If you stop now, it dies with you. You don't just carry your purpose. Your purpose carries generations. Your endurance is generational wealth. Your persistence is inheritance. Your discipline is destiny insurance for people you haven't even met yet. This is why you can't afford to fold. The pressure you're under, it's proof that something valuable is inside of you. Gold only gets purified by heat. Diamonds only form under pressure. Legends only rise from resistance. And leaders, true leaders, are not elected by applause. They are forged by adversity. Do you want to lead? Then prepare to bleed. Because the calling comes with a cost. And the price is everything you thought you could keep while still becoming who you were meant to be. You don't get to take your comfort with you. You don't get to take your laziness with you. You don't get to take your old habits, your weak identity, your cheap excuses, not if you want the real crown. The throne belongs to those who suffer well, who suffer with vision, who suffer with faith, who suffer with fire in their bones, saying, I will make this mean something. I will not bleed for nothing. This is what separates the few from the many. Most people endure pain and let it make them bitter. But the rare ones, the chosen ones, endure pain and let it make them better. They don't use their wounds as reasons to quit. They use their wounds as reasons they must not. Because if I can survive this, what else can I carry? If I can walk through this, who else can I lead? You don't build strength in your highlight reel. You build it in your hidden life, in the reps no one sees, in the decisions no one claps for, in the early mornings, the late nights, the quiet obedience that says, I will not let comfort rob me of the future I was built for. There is a future version of you watching this moment, and that future self is not wondering how much talent you had. It's not asking how motivated you felt. It's not impressed by your potential. It is watching what you endured. Because potential never built anything. Endurance did. You are not where you are because of what you believed. You are where you are because of what you survived. And every next level of your life will demand a stronger, bolder, more disciplined version of you. That means pain. That means resistance. That means learning to hold pressure without dropping purpose. And that is why this hurts. It's not because you're weak. It's because you're called. It's not because you failed. It's because you're being formed. It's not because you're lost. It's because the old map no longer fits the terrain you were born to take. You're not stuck. You're being sculpted. You're not forgotten. You're being fortified. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. And if you keep showing up, if you keep pressing forward when everything screams to quit, if you refuse to let your feelings dictate your future, you will step into a level of strength that the world cannot take from you. Because you didn't inherit it, you earned it. With your silence, with your scars, with your sacred decision to rise anyway. So don't stop now. The fire is not your enemy. It's your evidence. You're not breaking. You're becoming. Every breakthrough you pray for is hiding behind something you don't want to face. The weakness you ignore, the pattern you excuse, the conversation you've been avoiding, the mirror you've been afraid to look into. You can visualize all you want. You can recite affirmations until your voice cracks, but nothing changes until you do. until you face the discomfort that your future requires. Until you say, "I will not spend another year escaping my own greatness." Most people don't fail because they lack vision. They fail because they lack endurance. They think belief is enough. They think dreaming is doing. They think mindset is magic. But mindset is only the foundation. The building is forged in relentless action. Repeated, refined, endured. Because pain is the price of access. And if you want to go to places no one in your bloodline has ever gone, you have to do what no one in your bloodline has ever endured. The struggle is not personal, it's ancestral. You are breaking patterns. You are carrying legacies. You are bearing weight not meant to crush you, but crown you. Stop expecting ease. Start expecting equipping. This storm didn't come to sabotage you. It came to strengthen you. You asked for the next level. This is the next level. Not the platform, not the praise, but the process, the pruning, the proving. This is where heaven separates the loud from the loyal, the hype from the humble, the crowd from the call. And if you stay faithful here, not when it's easy, but when it's excruciating, you will develop an identity that's no longer shaken by setbacks. Because identity isn't built in celebration. It's built in confrontation. Who are you when nothing is clapping for you? Who are you when the applause dies? The results are silent, and God seems quiet. Because that's the version of you that either folds or forges fire. You say you want success, but do you want refinement? You say you want the platform, but do you want preparation? You say you want the blessing, but are you willing to become the person capable of carrying it without it crushing you? Don't let social media fool you. Success isn't a spotlight, it's a sacrifice. And legacy. Legacy is expensive. You can't buy it with emotion. You buy it with consistency. You pay in pain. You pay in patience. You pay in showing up over and over and over when it would be so much easier to let the old version of you keep the pen. But not you, not anymore. You're done letting fear write your story. You're done letting weakness make your decisions. You're done letting who you were talk you out of who you're becoming. You've stared at the threshold long enough. Now it's time to walk through it. No more waiting to feel ready. No more hiding behind confusion. No more asking for clarity when what you really need is courage. The test isn't, do you know enough? It's, will you move anyway? The blessing doesn't require perfection. It requires obedience. And obedience always begins at the edge of comfort. So take the step, even if your knees shake, even if your voice trembles, even if the only thing louder than your calling is your fear. Take the step, because vision is a lie without endurance. And your future, the one you dream about, cry about, fight for, will never arrive through wishing. It will only be born through enduring. Stop waiting for peace to begin the war. Peace doesn't come before the battle, it's born in the middle of it. It's carved out in the noise, shaped in the chaos, hammered into your spirit when everything is loud and life is unfair. Peace is not the absence of struggle. It's the presence of strength while the struggle still rages. You want peace, then earn it through endurance. There's no shortcut to inner strength. You don't get it by listening to podcasts and reading one more book. You get it by surviving the season that was designed to break you and choosing to keep building anyway. Because endurance is what makes vision possible. Dreams aren't meant to make you comfortable. They're meant to provoke you to agitate the old identity until it has no choice but to die. That's the secret most won't tell you. You don't just achieve success. You outgrow what was keeping you small. You don't just rise. You release. And sometimes what you need to release is your version of easy. Because as long as you chase comfort, you will abandon greatness. Greatness is lonely. Greatness is grueling. Greatness is built in the hours when no one sees you, no one affirms you, no one validates you. Just silence, just repetition, just that voice in your head whispering, "Is this even working?" And that's the moment that defines you. That's the moment most people quit. But that's the moment you must decide. Decide that your future matters more than your fatigue, that your purpose is louder than your pressure, that your calling is heavier than your excuses. You don't need another sign. You don't need another sermon. You don't need one more quote on Instagram to tell you what you already know. This is your mountain. This is your proving ground. And you either climb or you collapse. You either endure or you evaporate. Because God does not elevate the comfortable. He elevates the committed. And commitment is never tested in convenience. It's tested in the silence, in the delay, in the stretch when it feels like nothing is happening, when you're obeying and there's no breakthrough, when you're faithful and the doors still feel locked. That's not failure. That's development. That's where the old you is slowly dying and the future you is being shaped. And the question is, will you survive the silence long enough for your strength to speak? Because it will. If you don't fold, if you don't run, if you don't go back to what was easy, just because what's next feels hard. Hard doesn't mean wrong. It means real. It means you're in it now. It means God is molding a vessel capable of holding what you once could only imagine. So endure it, breathe through it, stand in it, learn from it, grow inside of it. Because this pain isn't random, this resistance isn't punishment. This pressure is not the sign to quit, it's the sign to keep going. It means you're finally on the path. Not the path of wishful thinking, not the path of shallow faith, but the path of transformation. And transformation is never about what you say, it's about what you survive. You want a new life? Then outlast the old one. Don't just pray for breakthrough. Become the kind of person who can hold it. Don't just declare change, endure long enough for change to become your new normal. This is where most people get stuck. They want transformation without transition. They want arrival without the walk. They want resurrection but refuse to let anything die. But death always comes before glory. Loss always precedes discomfort is not the enemy, it's the doorman. And what you're feeling right now, that ache in your chest, that slow burn in your spirit, that's not failure, that's friction. That's your old self rubbing up against your new assignment. That's heaven trying to stretch a soul that keeps playing small. You were not made for small. You were not made to coast, to conform, to consume. You were made to create, to conquer, to choose the hard road because the hard road leads home. And home is where your higher self lives. It's where the bold version of you breathes. Udinti, you sees. The decisive you, the fire-tested you, the you who doesn't break when things get inconvenient. The you who walks in rooms and doesn't shrink. The you who remembers that peace doesn't come from ease, it comes from alignment. You will never outrun your own disobedience. You can distract yourself, entertain yourself, numb yourself. But eventually, the calling will find you again. It always does. It will whisper through the cracks of your excuses. It will echo in the silence between your distractions. It will tap on the window of your comfort and ask, "Are you done playing safe yet?" Because if you're not, life will keep repeating the lesson until your character can hold the elevation. And some of you are praying for a destiny your current discipline can't sustain. You're asking for overflow with a cracked container. You're demanding open doors while dragging the same old habits. You can't skip the work. You can't fake the foundation. You can't rise with loose roots. You have to dig deep. You have to choose truth when it's not trendy. You have to be consistent when it's not convenient. You have to outdiscipline your doubts and outlast your feelings. Feelings lie. Excuses lie. But discipline tells the truth. Every time. Because your future doesn't respond to what you feel, it responds to what you do. So do it broken. Do it scared. Do it unseen. Do it tired. Do it when your friends don't clap. Do it when no one shares the post. Do it when it looks like nothing is changing. Because something is changing. You are. And that's the most important shift of all. The world doesn't need more people who talk big and fold fast. It needs those who endure. The silent grinders. The stubborn builders. The quiet warriors who are too busy becoming to care what the crowd says. You don't need more applause. You need more endurance. Because the ones who win, the ones who rise, the ones who carry legacy, they don't win by being loud. They win by lasting longer. You say you want to become legendary. Then get ready to be lonely. Because the road to legendary is never crowded. It's carved in silence, forged in fire, and walked by those who stopped needing permission to move forward. You think legacy is built when everything feels good. It's built when everything feels wrong, and you keep going anyway. It's built when you train your feet to walk while your heart still heals. It's built when you trust the mission more than your moves. It's built when you choose the long game in a world obsessed with instant. The people we remember, Lincoln Mandela, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr., they didn't just endure pain. They became stronger because of it. They didn't just speak about vision, they walked through storms to defend it. You want to carry power, then carry pain first. You want to hold authority, then hold your ground when everything says quit. You want influence, then become the person who chooses obedience even when nobody's watching. This is where you separate the fantasizers from the finishers. Most people live in potential, die in comfort. They talk about dreams they never pursue. They plan for someday until someday becomes never. They chase the feeling of growth but run from the fire that causes it. You don't get to your next level by escaping the heat. You step through it, refined, not burned. The truth. You won't always feel like showing up. You won't always feel like becoming. But you're not being tested for your emotions. You're being tested for your endurance. You're being tested for whether or not you can still hold the vision when everything else feels like it's collapsing. This is about self-command, self-respect, self-mastery. And that doesn't come cheap. It costs the old you, the impulsive you, the lazy you, the distracted, approval-hungry, easily swayed version of you. If you want to move forward, you have to bury the version of you that keeps looking backward. The version that settles, that tolerates average, that avoids discomfort at all costs. That person can't enter your next season. They'll sabotage it. They'll shrink in the face of opportunity. They'll carry the seed of regret into rooms you've prayed for. So be ruthless with your evolution. Be violent with your distractions. Be surgical with your standards. Cut off what drains you. Sharpen what drives you. Because what you tolerate is training your nervous system to expect it again. And what you expect, you attract. So if you want to attract better, start becoming better. Not in flashes of motivation, but in patterns of discipline. Every single day. Even when it's boring. Even when it's quiet. Even when no one is cheering. Even when nothing seems to change. Because in those hidden hours, you're not just building habits. You're building a history with yourself. A track record your future will one day stand on. And that history will either be full of almosts or full of moments where you endured. There is a version of you right now, a version you haven't met yet. They live on the other side of your breaking point. They breathe with certainty. They move with power. They speak with clarity. Not because life made it easy for them, but because they kept showing up when it wasn't. They didn't wait for the world to believe in them. They didn't wait to feel ready. They didn't wait for the fear to leave. They moved anyway, because they understood growth is not about comfort. Success is not about ease, and becoming the one you were born to be will cost you the comfort of who you used to be. You can't envision your way there. You can't manifest your way there while avoiding responsibility. You can't think your way into greatness if you keep excusing your way out of hardship. You must become. You must endure. Not once, not twice, but over and over again until endurance becomes identity. Until pain no longer signals retreat, but signals progress. Until you stop praying for a lighter load and start praying for a stronger back. Because the truth is this: God doesn't give heavy assignments to weak minds. He gives them to those He wants to strengthen. He gives you the weight because He wants to see. Will you build the muscle or break under the pressure? Will you see the valley as punishment or as preparation for the mountain? You become what you go through, but only if you decide not to go back. This life, this calling, this vision you say you want, it requires a spine of steel and a heart on fire. It requires patience without passivity, action without applause, conviction without convenience, and a decision, a deep gut-level decision that you are done being shaped by fear, done being defined by delay, done being ruled by emotion, opinion, or hesitation. You were not called to blend in. You were called to break cycles, to raise standards, to become the one your bloodline has been waiting on. So stop waiting for it to get easier. Stop asking life to go easy on you. Ask instead to be made strong enough to rise anyway, because the crown you're after, it's not handed to the talented. It's forged in fire, worn by the obedient. And if you want that crown, you've got to bleed for it. Not just dream, not just hope. Bleed, not just when you feel inspired, but when your soul is exhausted and the silence is loud, you still show up. Because you've decided you will not become a prisoner of what you've endured. You will become proof that pain was never stronger than purpose. You will not carry scars as shame. You will wear them as a signal that says, I was built for this. So now the question isn't, what do you want? The question is, what are you willing to endure to become it? Because the fire won't ask for your permission. The storms won't wait for your timing. And destiny won't bend to your excuses. It will demand everything. And in return, it will give you everything you were born for. But only if you refuse to break. Only if you rise one more time than life knocks you down. Only if you learn to stand even when your knees shake. Because the person you envision is waiting, but they can only meet you on the other side of your endurance. So make the decision. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Draw the line. Burn the fallback plan. And become undeniable. You don't need more motivation. You need a made-up mind. Because when your mind is made up, the mountain moves. And if this message stirred something in you, if it hit where it hurts and healed where it needed to, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Send it to the version of you that almost quit. Send it to the friend who needs a reminder of what they're made of. Drop a comment below. I become what I endure. And if you're ready to keep building the mindset that doesn't just survive, but conquers, hit that like button. Subscribe. Because this is only the beginning. We're not here to play small. We're here to build legacies. One mindset, one decision, one unbreakable identity at a time. Stay unshaken. Stay relentless. And never forget, you become what you endure, not what you envision. We'll see you in the